everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nick with the 1994 Candle Co. And today we are going to be going over my testing results of all the new year-round Candle Science fragrances. And this has kind of been a video that I have been putting off for a little bit, mostly just because testing and making all the scents and stuff took a while, longer than it probably should have, just because I've also been working on my own like spring and summer collection stuff and all of that. So this video did take a little bit longer to get out, so I do apologize for that, but nevertheless, here we are, excited to talk about these fragrances. Also, another thing I feel like we should talk about is the setting back here. Well, the setting's not really different, but the lighting is definitely a little different, as you can tell. If you guys haven't really noticed, I kind of changed stuff up a little bit here and there, almost in every single video that I've done, just because I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want my channel to look like, to sound like, all that stuff. Not necessarily sound like, I know what I want it to sound like, but I'm just trying to change it up a bit, like with the look of like back here and stuff like that. I was just a little bored with, I didn't really like the lighting, to be honest, in here. The lighting in here is not great, and pretty much all my videos are filmed at night because that is when I have time to film videos. I do still work a full-time job, so really evening is the best time for me to film videos and stuff. Occasionally I'll get in like on a Saturday afternoon or something, but most of the time it is at night, and so felt like I just needed something like lighting wise that like worked a little better for dark and stuff, because the lighting in here just like is not really super great and stuff, and we are in an apartment, so I'm like, I feel weird about changing light bulbs and stuff like that that are already like in place. So I mostly just changed a lamp back here that we have set up and stuff, and I'll probably, if I do decide to go with this kind of lighting, I'll probably add more back here so that it's a little more evened out, but for now, this is where we are. I know you guys probably do not care at all, especially if you're new to the channel. You're like, I don't care, just get to the video. So without further ado, here we go. So as I said, I did make tester candles of all of the new scents. In case you forgot what they are Limoncello Creme, Lavender Embers, Matcha and Bergamot, Rose and Oud, Peach, Mango, Bellini, Solar Sands, and Freesia and Lilac, hopefully I'm saying Freesia right. But these are all the new Candle Science year-round fragrances. They've been out for probably maybe a month or so now, probably a little bit longer than that. I can't remember exactly when they came out, but sometime about a month and a half ago, somewhere around there. And so I did go ahead and make tester candles out of all of these. And if you haven't watched my previous video where I go over kind of my initial reactions out of the bottle, I'll put a link to it somewhere up here. You can go watch that if you would like to, just to kind of get my initial feedback out of the bottle, and then come back, watch this video to see how these scents kind of change in wax, because I'm gonna be honest, I was definitely a little bit wrong about some of these scents. They definitely smell very different in wax than they do in the bottle, which is common for some fragrances. Sometimes they don't change a lot, and sometimes they do change quite a bit, so it just kind of depends on the fragrance and the notes that you pick up out of the bottle and just all that kind of stuff. And real fast, if you've never been a part of these videos before, if you've never seen my previous ones, I do these ratings on a scale of 1 to 5. So 1 is like, couldn't smell it at all, really, really light. 3 is like pretty average. This is where most fragrances kind of tend to land, right around a 3. And then 5 is like, this is super ultra crazy strong, like this is like your Fruit Loops from the Flaming Candle would be one. I think it's Fresh Coffee from Candle Science is another really strong scent. I'm trying to think of a few others or whatever that you guys would know, but scents like those that are just really, really strong, they have a really strong hot throw. They're gonna fill like possibly your whole house or whatever with a scent, just because they are pretty strong scents and stuff like that. And so that's kind of my ratings. So let's get into it. Okay, and we're not going in any specific order here, but the first scent that I tested out was Freesia and Lilac. This was a nice scent. I didn't really have too many changes from out of the bottle. It's pretty, it's fairly similar from its out of the bottle scent and everything, but for the cold throw I gave it a 2, and for the hot throw I gave it a 4. So Freesia and Lilac, for sure. The cold throw was a bit lighter, but the hot throw was fairly strong. And the scent, like I said, did kind of, it didn't really change a whole lot from out of the bottle. In the wax, it smelled fairly similar to what it was out of the bottle. So overall, I did like this scent. I don't know that I'll be adding it to my line, just because I do already have some other floral scents and stuff that my customers really enjoy. And this is kind of a nice, peaceful lilac type scent. And so I do enjoy it, but I already used their other lilac, French lilac, I believe is what it's called. And so I probably won't be switching from that, just because I do really enjoy that fragrance. But if you don't have a lilac or another floral scent already, then I would definitely recommend this one. Real fast before we head to the next rating, it would mean so much to me if you guys would leave this video a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It does really help my channel continue to grow, and so I can continue providing great content for you guys. Next up, we have Limoncello Creme. This one, I said that out of the bottle, which I still stand by. It does, out of the bottle, it does kind of smell like a very lemony, like Pez type scent, like the Pez candies. Like, you know, those candies that you used to get like the little dispenser with or whatever. And I don't necessarily, I mean, I don't know, I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way or whatever, because I used to love those candies. But I don't know that necessarily, like, if it stayed like that in a candle, that I would love it. But it actually really doesn't stay like that in the candle. I'll talk about that in a minute. But for the cold throw for Limoncello Creme, I did give it a 3. It was fairly average, pretty decent cold throw. And then the hot throw, I did give it a 4. It was pretty strong in the hot throw. Again, I'm using 6006, so that is something to keep in mind when you're testing these fragrances. But yeah, I did feel like it was definitely a little above average. It, when I was burning it in my office, it definitely lingered out into the hallway. When I burned it here at home, it kind of definitely went outside of our bathroom that I normally test candles in and stuff like that as well. And so if it does more than just fill the room that it's in, to me, that's a little bit stronger. And so this one definitely kind of went down our hallway and even a little bit into our kitchen and stuff when I was testing. So I would definitely give this one kind of a rating of 4 with the hot throw. And when I put this one into wax, I actually enjoyed the scent quite a bit more. It was more of a, like, still, you definitely still get a little bit of that tart lemon, but I would say that you get a little bit more of the cream scent or whatever. I would say it's kind of like, almost like a lemon custard type scent. It is definitely still a little bit on the tart side, but it's definitely a lot more lemon. If you've ever tried their lemon pound cake, that scent to me, I do like it, but it's a little heavy on the cake side and not too much lemon. This one is definitely more heavy on the lemon side, which I do enjoy. I'm honestly kind of considering combining the two scents, lemon pound cake and limoncello creme, just to see if that kind of balances out that it's kind of, you know, the lemon pound cake is really cake heavy, I feel like, and so it's kind of missing, I feel like, a stronger lemon scent and stuff like that. And so I think that maybe mixing these two together might be a good option if you're looking for a more sweet lemon type scent. And then next up after that was Matcha and Bergamot. So this scent I did talk about. So I stand by what I said out of the bottle. It definitely does still kind of have a weird kind of linen-y type scent. Like that's what I get out of the bottle. However, I did, when I put it in the candle, I kind of got more of the tea notes and stuff like that. It's like green tea, in case you don't know what matcha is. With this scent, I honestly I knew that matcha was like green tea or something like that, but I have never personally had green tea. I've really barely ever drank tea in the entirety of my life. But my wife does drink a bit more tea than I do, and she has had green tea, so I did have her smell it and give me feedback on like, does this actually smell like matcha and bergamot or whatever? And she definitely said that she could pick up on the notes of like what that would smell like and stuff like that. And so I do trust her judgment. And like I said, I'm not a huge tea drinker, and so I wasn't for sure, but according to her, it is a pretty close scent to what green tea actually smells like. But for this one, the cold throw, I did give it a 3, and the hot throw also a 3. It was a fairly average. It wasn't like crazy strong, but definitely wasn't like so light that it definitely filled my office, our bathroom, all that stuff. I think it even filled our living room pretty well and stuff. It's a very nice, like clean, fresh scent. So if you like those type of scents, I would definitely pick this one up. It is a nice scent, even though I didn't fully know what green tea was supposed to smell like. Out of the bottle, like I said, this one does still kind of smell more linen-y to me, but in the actual candle or wax melts, it's definitely a little bit, you definitely get more of the green tea notes and stuff like that. Next up, we have Lavender Embers, which, if you guys remember, this was the one that had an insanely strong scent throw just out of the bottle, like to the point it was like making my eyes water and stuff. It is very insanely strong out of the bottle. But once you put it in a candle wax, it does kind of mellow down a bit. It's not so overbearingly strong. Like, it's not to the point where your like eyes are watering and you're like have to leave the room because it's too strong or anything like that. So for Lavender Embers, for the cold throw for this one, I did give it a 5, and the hot throw, I also gave it a 5. So it is pretty strong. It is definitely kind of on that level of like Fruit Loops, fresh coffee, those type of scents. Those are like the only 2 scents that I can think of right now that are super strong. There definitely are more, but those are the main ones that I can think of off the top of my head. But I would definitely say that, yeah, this scent is definitely kind of up there with those scents, but I wouldn't say it's super overpowering once it's in wax. Out of the bottle, I will say it is kind of overbearingly strong, but it definitely mellows down a bit once you put it in candle wax and stuff, and so it's kind of mellows out a bit. You can smell a bit more of the lavender scents, and I will say this is one scent that I was a bit wrong about, I feel like. I mean, at least from my, I was smelling all, the things that I was smelling in my last review of like, it kind of smells a bit like fireside and stuff like that, but with just lavender mixed in, which I still kind of stand by that, but I will say in a candle, you definitely get a bit more of the lavender, and you get more, a little bit more of like an earthy kind of, fireside is pretty earthy, but you get like a different kind of earthy than what you get from fireside. And so you definitely pick up on some of the other notes as well. And I definitely enjoyed this scent a little bit more once it was in wax rather than just out of the bottle. So if you did get this scent and you thought like you smelled out of the bottle and you were like, nope, don't like it. To be honest, I was kind of the same. I wasn't a huge fan of it. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. But in candle wax, I definitely enjoyed it a lot more. And so even though it was still fairly strong, it wasn't like overbearing or anything like that. Next up, we have Solar Sands. So this one, I'm gonna be honest, is completely opposite of Lavender Embers as far as the hot throw. This was probably the weakest scent out of all the ones that I tested from this release. So for the cold throw, I gave it a 3, and then for the hot throw, I only gave it a 2. The cold throw was fairly decent, definitely. It's a nice coconut scent. I wouldn't say, so I did say in the last video, I think I actually maybe said the wrong fragrance. I might have said it smells similar to Santal and coconut, but what I meant was coconut soleil. And I might not have mixed those up, but I think I did. But either way, it kind of smells out of the bottle. It smells similar to coconut soleil, but once it's in a candle, it definitely does. It kind of smells similar, but there's, I feel like, enough differing notes that you can definitely still sell it as a different scent. But like I was saying, this one definitely is kind of on the lighter side. I don't even know if it could fill my entire office. I mean, my office isn't huge, but it's also not like super small either. So kind of do your own testing with this one. You could definitely try adding hotter or cooler or whatever to play around with and see if you can get a better hot throw with this one. But in my experience, it was kind of a lighter scent. I mean, it kind of like, I could definitely smell it burning in my office, but I couldn't really smell it outside of my office at all. And even like walking up to it, like I had to get fairly close to like my desk and stuff where it was burning to be able to actually smell the scent. Now, I do want to point out though, I do burn a lot of coconut scents just because I really enjoy them. But I don't think I've burned any so far this year before this one. But I do generally like coconut scents and everything, and this was a nice scent. However, like I said, it was just kind of on the lighter side. So for that reason, I would definitely want to do more testing. If I was going to try and add it into my line and stuff, I would definitely want it to be a little bit stronger, in my opinion. And we're down to the last two scents. So next up is going to be Rose and Oud. This was another one that I will say I feel like I was kind of wrong about, at least out of the initial bottle scent review and stuff like that. It definitely, you know, I kind of said something, I think I said something like a little bit like they're just setting things on fire to see what they smell like. And yes, like this definitely does kind of have that fireside-ish type scent, but I would say that you definitely get a lot more of the rose from this when you're actually burning it. I definitely get some like kind of like woody, like cedar type notes and stuff like that. I wouldn't say so much fireside necessarily when it's actually burning, but I can see where I got that. It's from the oud, which is a pretty heavily prevalent scent in fireside, and so you know, out of the bottle it definitely smells a little bit more like fireside, but with rose mixed in. But when it's actually burning and stuff, it's definitely a little less fireside and more rose. This is definitely a very unique rose scent. This is not like your normal rose, like it doesn't smell exactly just like roses. I don't fully know how to explain it. It's more like a woody type rose, if that makes any sense at all. But it was a very nice scent, and if you're not a huge fan of rose scents, I would definitely try this one out, as it's kind of definitely different from your traditional rose type of scent. But for the cold throw for Rose and Oud, I did give it a 4, and for the hot throw, I gave it a 3. It was fairly average hot throw. The cold throw was, I would say, maybe a little bit stronger as far as cold throw goes. It was definitely a little bit stronger than your average scent, but the hot throw, I would say, was fairly average, maybe a little bit higher. It was kind of like it does kind of linger out of the room a little bit, but it's not like super overpowering or anything like that. It's a nice, I wouldn't say subtle, but it's definitely a little bit more of an average hot throw, like I said. And then last but certainly not least, we have Peach Mango Bellini, which I will say I was slightly hoping this would be a little bit stronger scent. It is pretty strong out of the bottle, but for the cold throw for this one, I gave it a 3, and for the hot throw, I did give it a 3. So I would say it's pretty average, maybe a little above average. I would maybe tend to go like 3.5, something like that. I definitely wouldn't say it's a 4, but I would say that it's like kind of in that average range or whatever, maybe a little bit on the stronger spectrum of that. But overall, this is a nice scent. I will say though, I'm slightly nervous because I do plan on adding this into my line, but there's something about it that smells very similar to another scent that they just released recently, earlier this year, which is passion fruit pineapple. And so I don't know if there's like pineapple in it. I can't remember what all the scent notes or whatever, or if there's passion fruit in both of them or what, but there's something in there that they both smell kind of similar. You can definitely smell more of the peach, obviously, in the peach mango Bellini. But there is something there that they kind of both smell, have very similar like base notes or something like that, where they do kind of smell pretty similar, which, I mean, I get that they're both very fruity scents, so it could just be that, but yeah, if I made these candles side by side, I'm afraid that I would have like a little bit of trouble trying to figure out which one was which, just because they definitely both have some similar notes to them and stuff. But overall, I do really enjoy this scent. It's probably my favorite out of all of these scents or whatever that have come out with the new year-round collection. And then real fast, I do want to give you guys kind of my final ratings on all of these, just to let you guys know my least favorite to favorite. So out of 7, so I would put Matcha and Bergamot in last, so 7th place. In 6th place, I would put Solar Sands, just because, like I said, it does kind of have a really light scent throw, and I just kind of prefer something a little bit stronger that I can smell a little easier and don't have to get so close to the candle before smelling it. So for that reason, I would put that one out of 6. Number 5, I would say, would be Lavender Embers. This was a decent scent. It was probably last, to be honest, before I actually put them in candles. So it definitely did move up in my rankings a little bit. So I would give that one a 5. Number 4 would probably be Rose and Oud, right behind Lavender Embers. I did enjoy Rose and Oud just a little bit more, maybe, than Lavender Embers. Number 3, I would say, was Freesia and Lilac. It is a very nice, calming floral scent. Number 2 would be Limoncello Creme. It is honestly a really good scent. And then number 1 would be Peach Mango Bellini. I do really just enjoy a good fruity cocktail scent. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and hanging out with me today. If you guys are still wanting to hang out a little bit longer, you can check out one of these other videos that are about to pop up on the screen, and I'll see you there.